Hi, Soul and Chemistry students, and welcome to this edition of Tabletop Chemistry. Now, before we get started on our double replacement lab, which is over pages 17, 18, 19, and 20 in your Unit 8 packet, disclaimer, don't do this at home. All right, so this is going to be a two-part video where we take a look at these double replacement reactions. Now, we should already know from our notes that a double replacement reaction is when we start with two ionic compounds, and the metal ion, or cation, the positive ion, they switch place with each other in those compounds. And the reaction only occurs, well, we'll kind of talk about it later in the unit, but this reaction only happens if one of those products is a solid precipitate, or if one of our products is water, or if one of our products is a gas. Let's just take a look at these first four reactions today. Now, for this first part of the video, as you go through this, you should write and balance the molecular equation, and then make some observations. So, starting with reaction number one, we have barium chloride with sodium sulfate. So I add in some drops of my barium chloride, and I'm going to add some drops of my sodium sulfate. And there we go. I'll notice that color change. And it might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but over time, you will notice that that white solid settles to the bottom. So we actually have a precipitate formed in this reaction. Moving on to number two. Just flipping pages here. Number two, we have sodium carbonate with silver nitrate. So start with my sodium carbonate, and then let's add in some of that silver nitrate. Try to make it so you can see it a little bit better. And notice you can see it a little bit better this time, kind of floating more at the top part of that solution, that solid precipitate. Reaction number three, bringing back the barium chloride with our lead 2 nitrate. So here goes number three. Let's take a look. Start with our barium chloride. And let's add in our lead nitrate. There we go. Definitely see the precipitate settling at the bottom of that test tube there. And then finally for this last one, part number four, we have cadmium chloride and we have sodium sulfide. I think the first one, let's add our cadmium chloride. Make sure we can see this. Boom, boom, cadmium chloride goes in, and here comes our sodium sulfide. And you notice color change and the formation of that solid precipitate. So I know that was kind of fast. You can always rewind and go through this. Also, we will be putting together a set of Google Slides showing the after images if you would like to go back through this. But this was part one of the double replacement lab, where again you could see for the examples that we had, like for number one was barium chloride and sodium sulfate. We were mixing two aqueous ionic compounds. And if the reaction occurred, so in other words, if we had the formation of that precipitate, the reaction occurred.